Alright, today I'm going to be going over the ascension paths in the tradition trees, like, the biological, synthetic, psionic, those, and kind of just rating them and giving my opinion on what is objectively best from a purely meta and mechanical standpoint. That being said, let's get in. The psionic path. Meh. Second place for me. First of all, shroud buffs. Some of them are good, don't get me wrong, but some of them are less so. The boons are not really all that significant, and the infrequency with which you can actually contact the shroud just makes it a not very good feature. I mean, it's nice to have, but it's not worth the shroud path in itself. Psionic trait is decent, but not as good as Erudite from the biological ascension path. You get a little bit of extra research and some more energy credits, but you can get the same thing accomplished with the with some traits. It was intelligent and the energy one. What was it? Screw it. I don't have the memory to remember. Chosen one is actually a really good leader trait. Like anytime I have a psionic species, I try my best to get a psionic ruler, specifically the chosen one, just because of the buffs that comes with it. Having an immortal leader, they will eventually reach max level, and that just means permanent buffs for your empire. And if you can get them to have a good agenda on dictatorship, then it's even better. Psi armies are meh. Morale as a mechanic it's not worthwhile. It's much easier to just brute force the enemy with a lot more armies. Some of the covenants are decent-ish, but it takes super long to get a good one, and some of the covenants screw you over in the end, so new players don't fall into that trap. If something seems too good to be true, it is. Paradox likes to play with our emotions. Side drives and shields are very good, however, they're pretty hard to get. Out of all my psionic runs, of which there are like 20, I think I've gotten psi shields like 3 times. So that's why I place the psionic path at number 2. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong and if I'm an idiot. Synthetic path, just don't. It is no bueno. Just bad. Just bad. The leaders are meh. Like, you don't get an intrinsic boost just for them being synthetically ascended. They break down after a certain amount of time, so they're not even immortal, so you don't have that buff. Meh pops. Like, you have to assemble your pops, and it's a pretty slow process where you could just have biological pops running on the growth and synthetics being produced in machinery. But no, you want your main species to be machinery that has to be assembled. Nice going. Spiritualists are gonna hate you. If you had any spiritualist allies that you were kind of on good terms with, hot and cold, say goodbye now. You're driving them into the arms of your enemy just because of their religious zeal. You don't have to worry about food anymore for the most part, which is pretty good, not gonna lie. Less resources to manage means you can specialize your worlds more, which is nice. But ultimately, just play a machine intelligence. Like, just play a machine intelligence if you really want to be synthetics that bad. It's objectively better in every way that I could think of, except for maybe influence gain. But, yeah. And last, and certainly not least, coming in at number 1 for me, is the biological ascension path. First of all, you get amazing pop specialization. All your energy worlds, you can have pops that are specialized to get as much energy as possible. And then you can give them the very strong trait just to make sure that they're getting even extra basic resources. And you can really just specialize your races as much as you want. And if you're playing xenophobe or authoritarian, where you can keep some races on residence, you could create a super race that is just like super long lifespan, super good at learning, and just have those be your leaders and just have amazing leader pools that will live a really long time and be really good at their job. You get set back to social science because of the because you have to actually genetically modify your species, but you get the same thing with the Shroud, and same thing to engineering with Synth Path, so no love lost. You get great leaders, as I mentioned before. The Erudite trait is just amazing. It's just good. It's amazing. Yeah, the Psionics get a trait too, but I'll be honest, I think I have a little bit of bias because I love to run Materialist, so maybe this is a bit of a moot point. Still better than Synthetic Ascension, though. And you don't get any opinion debuffs from anybody just for being biologically ascended. So that's nice. Spiritualists aren't gonna hate you, and it's amazing. It's just amazing. The biological ascension path is a near and dear place in my heart. Now, video's over for any of you that were just here for the ascension path stuff. To address a few things, yes, I'm working on getting screen capture, but my Xbox is really slow to load stuff, and I'm trying to like configure settings and all that, and it's just a mess. I should have it figured out by sometime next week. Just have some patience, and I'm trying to stick to daily uploads. So, with that said, I am trying all of your suggestions. Ciao, ciao.